Hi, welcome to the Intro Stats for Social Science class. My name is Dr. Tennille Pardue. I'm your instructor for the course. And I made this video to talk you through some of the highlights of the syllabus and to give you an example of what the videos will look like and how the course is going to work this summer. So, like I said, my name is Dr. Tennille Pardue. The best way to reach me is at my Queen's email address, pardut@queens.edu. Please email me from your Queen's email account. I'm not supposed to communicate with students using other email addresses. And please, oh please, don't use the messaging system through my courses. The way that system works is it sends me an email saying you've sent me an email someplace else. And then I have a hard time keeping track of where emails are. So email is the best way to get in touch with me. I try to have some amount of work-life balance. And so I try not to check emails on the weekends, try to unplug. But I will respond to emails within 24 hours, Monday through Friday. Usually it's a lot faster than that. I do tend to keep odd hours in the summer. So sometimes you may be getting a response at, 3 in the morning. So you can expect that. If something happens and something slips through the cracks or something, and by chance you don't get a reply within 24 hours, Monday through Friday, please shoot me another email and I'll get right back to you. So let's talk about office hours. I am on campus teaching a night class Thursday nights this summer. So I'll be on campus a little bit before that class every week. And you're welcome to come and meet with me then. If you'd like to, please just let me know so we can, so I know you're coming. Otherwise, and I know that's not feasible for everybody, otherwise our office hours are online. And I don't have that set up in terms of regular, I'll be online between this time and this time. What I want is for you to reach out to me and let me know when you need something, and we can set up a meeting. It is so easy to do. Use a program called Big Blue Button through my courses. Don't be intimidated by that. It lets us talk to each other and share computer screens, and I have a mouse pen where I can write and you can see, I can write problems and you can see what we're doing. I can walk you through some of the technology. So it's very easy. And it's actually part of what I expect from you. So it's not something that you're bothering me or anything. It's part of your job is to let me know if you have any questions. And people think that this is an online class, so they're working on their own. That is not the case. Actually, you get more one-on-one attention from me here through an online class than you might in a face-to-face class. So I expect that we're going to be in regular communication over the summer. Speaking of regular communication, it is just about inevitable that I'll make a mistake or two somewhere along the way, probably 1 or 2 per week. So please shoot me an email if you think I've made a mistake with a due date, or I don't know, maybe I add 2 plus 2 and get 5 on a slide or something. Occasionally that happens. So let me know if anything like that happens. What's important is reach out. I am here and happy to work with you. Let's talk about some of the materials for the course. There's my stat lab. I'll walk you through some of that in just a minute as soon as we finish talking through the syllabus. That's an online companion through the course textbook, through Pearson. That's required. Every week you're going to have some problems through there. And there's a couple of different kinds of homework, but one of them is through MyStatLab. And I like doing that because, and students usually like it too, because it gives them instant feedback that I can't give you with the assignments that you turn into me. It also includes a lot of other helpful tools that are built in, like guided practice. You can click on something and it'll take you to the place in the textbook where they talk about it. You can click on something and it'll show you a similar example. So there's lots of useful stuff in MyStatLab. And let me tell you something else about MyStatLab. The way I'm going to have that set up is that for those problems, I'm going to let you have the option to redo them over and over again until you get 100. So you will have unlimited attempts on MyStatLab problems. So that's just something to keep in mind. I put on the My Courses page registration instructions, which include the access code that you need. MyStatLab includes a couple of useful tools. One is it includes the electronic copy of the textbook, and I'll show you through that. If you're fine using the ebook, you don't need a hard copy of the textbook. But if you want a hard copy of the textbook, that's fine. You can get it through the bookstore or you can get it online. But you do need MyStatLab for sure. You don't need a calculator. Instead of one of those graphing calculators, we're going to be using StatCrunch, which is another thing that's included free of cost with MyStatLab. It's easier to use than a calculator, and it allows you to copy and paste your output, which gives me a better sense of what you've typed in. It allows me to see a little more about what you've typed in so that I can find your mistakes if you make them. So there's that. Let's talk about this then. There's a computer software package called Statistical Package for the Social Sciences, SPSS. The instructors for the social science courses have asked us to include an introduction to SPSS with this course. So we'll be getting you a little bit of practice with that. It's unfortunately not free, and there's not a freeware version of it that I could give you. You can, if you are close to campus and you want to go on campus, you can use the SPSS is available for free on all the computer labs on campus, including the library, so that's convenient. If you can't get to campus, then you can purchase a 6-month access, and I've got the link posted. It's $42.99 for 6 months. And we are going to probably use it half a dozen or so times. By the way, SPSS has a bad reputation. It has a reputation for being difficult to use, but it's not that hard. For what we're going to be doing, it's really just, point and click a few things and you get your output. What's going to be important for us is using the output and talking about it and making sense of it. Okay, so course overview. This is basically an intro stats course for the social sciences, similar to what you'd get at any university. We're going to be doing all the same topics. By the end of the course, you should know what all of these things mean in the overview. I know you probably don't now. I try also to focus on statistical literacy, statistical thinking, and statistical reasoning. So that'll be kind of our focus for the summer. But there are several specific topics that we need to cover. Okay, so your grading. So we already talked about MyStatLab assignments. Those are going to be every week, just about. There's also going to be graded homework that you turn in to me. So where My Stat Lab gives you instant feedback, this feedback will be more in depth. So you'll do, and they're short. It's really just 2 or 3 problems per week. Usually you turn in through my courses. I'll grade them and I'll give you feedback on that. And one thing I would suggest is that you definitely pay close attention to the feedback. Because I try to make sure that I give you some insights into what's wrong and what you could do differently when you see that kind of problem in the future. There's also practice problems. So graded homework you turn in. I put practice problems also there, usually posted with a key, or for some of the problems you can look in the back of your textbook and find the answers. Practice problems are important for you to do, but you're not turning those in for a grade. I want you to have an opportunity to do some practice and to be able to look at the key, where if you make a mistake, you don't get hurt. So I do expect you to do those practice problems, but I'm not checking on you to make sure you do. They should help you with the graded problems, though. So practice problems, you can have help from anybody on those. But the graded homework is to be your work. You can come get help from me, and they're open book, open notes. Check all the materials posted in my courses or your textbook. But any working with anybody else on those, even just a little bit, would be considered an honor code violation. So don't do that. So let's talk about participation. So participation consists of really 2 different kinds of things. Sometimes there will be discussion boards. So like the introductory discussion board counts as your first participation grade. I usually grade those for quality, not just did you do it. That's the first thing. The second thing is there are questions in the video lectures. So periodically, as I'm writing a lecture, I'll ask a question. So I'll embed a question right here in the video, right here. All right, so once you've got that counts as one of your questions towards your participation grade. And just like with the stuff in My Stat Lab, you can go back and do it again if you want to get a perfect score. And then at the end of the course, that counts as your participation grade. It's not just an overall feel for how well you participated. It's not an attitude grade. It's a did you do these particular items grade. Those questions embedded in the lectures are for a couple of things. They're to make sure you're paying attention, and they're also to highlight some important fact-based things. It's the mean of the standard normal distribution is 0. That's one thing that I'll ask you to just highlight that fact. Okay, when we get to that topic. So that's participation. There will be a midterm and a final. Those will include some questions similar to the graded homework and some questions from My Stat Lab. There'll also be 2 projects. We'll talk about those later on in the semester. And these are the weights. Graded homework counts more than anything else. And for I should mention that for the exams, they have the same honor code expectations as for the homework. Open book, open notes, but no help from anyone. They're not timed or anything, so you can have the whole week to complete them. Assignments are going to be due Mondays at 11:59 p.m. I strongly urge you not to procrastinate, especially because, well, you never know how long something's going to take you for the week. Sometimes it'll take, I would expect that you'd average about 10 to 12 hours a week on the course. For some people, it's a lot less. For some people, it might be a little more. But that's about what it is. If you were in a face-to-face class, we'd be meeting for 4 hours a week, and then you'd have homework and assignments outside of class. So that's about what you should be figuring. But about procrastination, I definitely, especially when there's technology involved, if you get stuck, you don't want to be emailing me at 11:55 on a Monday night saying I can't get SPSS to work. So make sure that you're leaving plenty of time in case you run into hiccups. There is a late penalty, but I won't accept assignments more than a week late. That brings us to pacing. It seems like every summer somebody gets behind, and then they want to email me and ask if we can work out something for them to catch up. And I've tried doing that in the past, and it just never works. So that's just not going to be an option. So you've got to keep up with the work. Partly because we have discussion boards, and you have to have those in a timely manner, otherwise they don't mean anything. And besides that, sometimes I post answer keys to homework assignments, to graded homework assignments, and so that doesn't make sense to accept work after that's posted. So if you have travel plans this summer, that's great. I have some travel plans as well, but make sure that you are still able to keep up with your assignments, either before you leave, after you get back, or while you're gone, because that doesn't waive late penalties. Grading scale is the typical grading scale. So the way the course works, since we're at expectations, every week, log in a few times a week, at least 3 times a week, to check in for things and check your email. But typically the way the course works is you go to the My Courses page. And so for the first week, so far here's what I've posted. I'll post the rest of it later, but you're going to work through the activities listed, and please do them in order. The first week it doesn't matter as much, but a lot of times I'll post a video lecture, and then another one, and then some practice problems, or a lecture and an activity based on that lecture, and then some practice problems. And so they're designed to be worked in that order. So literally you can go through with a checklist, like a checklist. I've done the first one, good. Done the second one, good. Done the third one, good. And when you're done with that, then you're done for the week. So that's kind of the way the course works. In terms of disability accommodations, usually doesn't require come up too much in the summer, but if it does, let me know, and I'm happy to provide those, but I need the letter of documentation. I take the honor code very, very seriously, so please let's not have any honor code violations this summer. Here's the course schedule. So this is when your midterm exam is going to be due June 25th. Your final exam is going to be due July 30th. Okay, so every week this is sort of a list of our topics. So you can see, and then it says assignments are due Mondays. All right, so let's take you over to my stat lab. I just want to show you a couple of things here. This is our course homepage. Once I post some assignments for you, they'll be right here. So on the assignments tab, they'll show up here and you'll just click there and work through the homework. There is a study plan, but you don't have to do anything in there. Okay, so the study plan, ignore that. Gradebook is where you'll be able to see all of your grades for the course. StatCrunch, this is the tool I showed you, and I'll show you more about this later. Visit the StatCrunch website, and here's basically your calculator for the semester. So it's graphs and stats are there. Let's see. Oh, the e-text. This is the real thing I wanted to show you. You can click here and open your e-text, but the easiest way to get to it is the chapter contents. So once we get to, I don't know, say chapter 6, you can see they have videos embedded in the course as well, and you're welcome to watch those. They may do things a little bit differently than I do, but here's the e-text. And this will bring up that page of the textbook. Very slowly, sometimes, obviously. But once you bring this up, you can change to any page. So here's the section on the standard normal distribution, just for example. And you can flip over and you'll have some problems at the end of that section. All right. So that's that. The last thing I wanted to do is just give you some advice for how to succeed in the course. The first thing I would say is pay close attention to the materials that are posted. If it says register for MyStatLab, follow those instructions carefully. The videos that are posted, those are essentially the course lectures. Be an active viewer of those. Don't just sit back and watch. With those, I would sit there and take notes. I would pause it and try to work along with the problems. I would, if there's technology being used, like SPSS, I would follow along there. You can rewatch the videos if you need to. So if there's something that didn't make sense the first time, go back and look at it again. Try the problems. Always try. Give it a good, honest try on your own, and then ask for help if you get stuck. Don't sit there for hours just spinning your wheels. You're going to get frustrated. On the other hand, like I said, do give it an honest try. So kind of know when to ask for help. We already talked about, don't procrastinate, especially with the technology. You never know how long that's going to take or where you're going to get stuck. And then pay attention to the feedback. I guess that's it for this video. So just, like I said, always feel free to reach out.